Hello, welcome to another edition of Wrench Ride Repeat. Today we're going to follow up with the wheel of wrench, and that is Rusty. So today we're going to go over Rusty and see what he needs, because he was a project bike and he's not done yet, and he's 100 years old. So we need to get some stuff done on him. But first, I'd like to show you we got the new table in. So this almost completes the garage. We got a new lift table from Harbor Freight. Right, these things aren't super fantastic, but they get the job done. And after an hour or so of putting everything together and getting it in the wheels and getting Rusty up on it, I think it looks pretty damn good. And I put this new wheel chock on here. It was something I got a long time ago that somebody gave me or something, and I was going to put it on my other table, and I never did. And but this one came in, and I'm like, I'm going to try and fit that on there, and don't it fit like a dream? So it's a rolling wheel chock, right? So you just reel the bike right up on it, and he's ready to go. So we got some stuff to do to Rusty here. Let me get my back in my position here. Okay. So I got a list of things, and I'm just going to go through this list with you and kind of point them out and show you what's going on here. So right off the bat, our primary problem is this shifter linkage. All right. So the shifter linkage, let me get in here. That's first on the list. Shifter linkage. Shifter sloppy. Okay. So I tried messing with this. I tried adjusting it. I got to get somebody that knows a little bit more about shovels than I do, which is almost anybody that knows anything about shovels. I was going to try and salvage these billet controls, right? And not a big fan, but if it gets me on the road till I can get stock replacements, fine. But this kind of slop here and shifting, it seems to shift okay, but the travel is insane. There's easily an inch of travel there. Now, I don't know what all this is here. Let's see if I can get a shot in here. All right, there's the linkage. And from what I could tell, there's a pivot point on the transmission itself. And then back here, let's see if I can get up in there, is the shifter itself. All right, that's what shifts. I guess this is a ratchet top. I'm not sure of some of the terminology. I got a lot to learn about shovels. So, moving on, we got an electrical short now, too. Number 2, electrical short. I turned the key on. I had this thing running. You all saw that. And I turned the key on, and I'm not getting any breakers popping, but I'm not getting anything else. Like, turn signals are very, very weak. I just had this thing on the charger for like 3 days, so it should be well charged. But let me see if I can show you if nothing smokes on me here. So we got headlight, but we don't have any. Let me see, where's that button at? Boy, there it goes. Okay, see how slow that is and how dim that is? It's almost like the battery's dead, but it's not dead. And I don't see anything smoking. I don't smell anything bad. Everything else seems to do okay. So let's go over here again, because I left the clipboard over here. And next one is the primary bolt broke off, which I just found when I was prepping this video. I went to see if this was a dry primary or a wet primary. And I don't know if you can see right here. That's normally where the drain plug is, and it's got oil on it. So I'm going to say this is probably a wet primary, which means it's probably chain driven, not belt driven. And we may just need to get in there in that primary and see what's going on. And see if that drain bolt is broken off, if somebody plugged it because they changed it to a dry primary and didn't want to change the cover off. Not sure at all. Let's go on. We'll move it on. Okay, the horn remount. All right, so I looked online. Excuse the straps. I looked online, and this is where the horns mount. Okay, they mount on this front fork, and they hang down like they're supposed to. But with this aftermarket billet, gigantic friggin' forward control, it bumps. Right, it touches when it's bent down. So I thought about putting it up in here, right, with one of the rubber stoppers with the studs on both sides to insulate it from the frame. So we may do that. So let's go back over to the other side. And again, we're on this billet stuff here, so forgive me. And so this is the back brakes, right? They look nice, don't get me wrong. Well, that's a little tight there. There we go. That's a little better. Let me get this stuff out of the way. So it's not bad, right? Seems to work okay. Foot peg's good. It bangs, right? And then we get back here. There's our rear brake switch. Let me see if we have rear brake switch. I didn't even look to see. Yeah, we got brake switch on the handle. I don't think we have anything on the... Let me see if I can see with the camera, huh? Yeah, nothing. Okay, so there's a job. Bleed the back brakes. And I'm going to have to bleed them again when I get my forward controls on there. So, back to the list. Kicker lever. Okay, so again, from what I understand, this is a stock kicker setup. And what I've been warned about is this right here. All right. So instead of it being solid here in the pedal, you just want the pedal to swing out, right? So this is kind of not as angled out. Let's see how that folds in. And boy, that would probably just rattle against that pipe like mad. But I've been told that these don't last, and they'll either break here or they'll break one of the nubs off here. So that's something to look at. All right. But, you know, that's a buy a part, get a part kind of stuff. So kicker lever, cable hole is, carb hole is stripped. Okay. So I went to put the cover on the other day. I was trying to make this video, and I got all of the three back plates, or all the two of the back plate screws in, and the third one is stripped out. So I don't know whether a longer bolt will hold that plate on where that's stripped out, or we may need to change out the carburetor and worry about that stripped hole some other time. I'm not decided yet on what I want to do there. It's a simple enough job. Maybe we'll dig into that. All right, so let's go on, moving on. Starter rebuild. Dun, dun, dun. That's what started this whole nightmare. We got the battery charged up. We got ready to go. And as soon as you hit that starter button, you get half a crank and the battery is just drained. And the battery's good. Don't get me wrong. The battery's good. And we tried several different times, several different batteries, jump packs, everything. That motor right there, he is shot, right? So we're going to pull him. From what I read, that's not a tough job. Maybe we'll get into that. And last but not least, I think, I do my own sound effects, folks. Thanks. Handlebars and forward controls. So I already told you about the forward controls. Not a giant fan, but they'll do in a pinch for now. But these gigantic friggin' risers and the bars, and like if you're going to run these, they should be fat bar tops, right? And make it all big fat bar. So I don't like those, even though, you know, they're probably comfortable to ride. It's not an exact drag bar or anything like that. And it's solid as hell, but I like the controls. I like the handles and the controls. I just don't like those bars. So I'm going to go and put a pair of, what do I got here? I got some straight up risers. All right. I found a set of risers and all the stuff Coop gave me for this bike. So there's half of what I need to buy. And I'm going to get some mini apes put on there. I got more than enough cable and cord. I think I could put some mini apes on here and just have a hell of a good time with it. So my goal was to get this thing started and do as many burnouts as I could this year, but we're halfway through the year and I really haven't gotten that far yet. So let's take a look and see what we want to dive into first. So after giving it some thought and trying to decide on what you want to do, I think I want to try and get this starter pulled first. I'm not going to rebuild it. I'm going to take it to a place here in town, Bar Electric, and they do great work. So I'm going to have them test it. I might do some light bench testing, but I want them to test it and rebuild it and get it working. So the kicker's fun, don't get me wrong, but electric start in the cold is probably a whole lot better. First and foremost, we're going to get this battery off, or disconnected. And it says to disconnect the ground side first. So it's up underneath the frame rail. So I'm going to take this strap off, pull the battery cover off. You know, I went out and bought some tools at Harbor Freight, and I know, I get what I pay for. I'm going to show you this when I'm done with getting this nut off of here sometime. Harley Davidson and their fine threads, you know what I mean? So are you down to where I can finger it down? There we go. Okay. Come on, come on. Well, the other reason I want to take the battery out is because more than likely, maybe, I might have to pull the battery tray. So, but look at this is Harbor Freight. All right, see this? I don't know if you can see that in camera. See a little dimple here? Where this one's square, all square at the top. It's square, right? This one's got some kind of stupid dimple in it. And then when you put pieces together, it wants to wobble around. And I thought, well, maybe I didn't push it in there far enough or it's not locked in. No, I got a whole extension kit and they're all just like this shit. Now they hold whatever you're putting together pretty well, you know, doesn't shake off or anything, but same with the sockets. Oh, what a hunk of junk. So let me get this band off of here and the cover off. You know, I don't mean to badmouth Rusty here because I barely got into him, but a Dyna lowrider is a Dyna lowrider when it comes to work on it. And I always said that these Dyna lowriders specifically, just like Lilith, my wife's bike, are a bike and a half crammed into a single frame. Right? Either that or it's just my meat hooks are too big to get into all these little tiny places. It is what it is. So now we got the battery out far enough. Let me grab my Phillips. Roll this guy up and out of the tray without hitting the frame. Here we go. You know, it might have helped a lot if that power side was tightened down a little bit more. You know what I mean? All right, there's the ground off. Put you in a special tray for holding that stuff. And while we're doing all this, I'm going to put this battery on the trickle charger. I did measure it, and it came back and said it was only 10.5 volts, something to that effect. So, battery's out. All right. So where they have the battery out, it's good ground, but man, that's a long ass cable. Let me see what I got here for battery. Here's 1, 2, 3 underneath. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pull this tray, or at least, I don't know, attempt to pull this tray. It's bolted to the oil tank, and it doesn't look like you can really get in there too easily with anything. Let me see if a socket will even get in here. Maybe that crappy Harbor Freight stuff will actually pay off because it won't go straight in. I think it will. Let's give it a try. It's nice, finally. It's pleasant. It's lunchtime. It's probably about 75 degrees, low humidity. I thought I'm going to get out here and try and catch up on some stuff. Make this video that I've been promising for, well, since I did the short about Gettysburg, and that was last week. So where's that other stupid extension at? Yeah, I'm still old school. I do everything with a ratchet and wrench for the most part. Is this first time I'm doing this, so stick with me here. Is that holding the oil tank? No. Maybe? Yeah, I believe that's what's holding the oil tank all in there. Okay, well, it says we can pull this out without, so let's try it. I'm going to tighten that back down again. Isn't wrenching fun? I didn't think I'd come out that far with it. Holy moly. Something's askew because the tray's not down where it was. There we go. Can I get all this in here? All right. So that's that. But I am going to pull this rear exhaust off just so it's out of the way of all the starting stuff I have to get into. Let me pull the other camera in on this so we can see from this side. That's probably, oh, that's a half. Okay. Not too tight. Get that kicker lever out of the way. You know, kind of, there's something that they said to be these shovels. There's only one stud on the head to hold the exhaust up. It's kind of keyed on there. Let me get this back bolt out of the way. I think he is 9/16. The battery box. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Pipe's loosening up already. So that'll drop the pipe enough to get the nut off the stud on the head. That stays in the pipe. Put that in the tray. Pull this guy down a little bit so I can get that nut the last 2 turns. Ta-da! And this little rusty washer. Kick her out of the way, maybe. Oh, yeah, voila! There we go. Pipe's off. Boy, does that need cleaned. Super grimy. Super. Okay, exhaust pipe's off. Let me get this guy back in frame. I think we're 1, 2, 3. That one's missing. Let's get these 3 nuts off of here. They halves? They are. Okay, but I don't need all this crappy extension on here. These Harbor Freight ratchets throw me. I don't know whether they're Korean or Argentinian or what, but you know, most ratchets are left on, right off. Right? These are complete backwards. So you're putting the damn thing on there and you're like, oh, well, I thought I was taking it off. And no, you're not taking it off. You were not taking it off. What do we have here? So I just got this little bracket. Ha! Okay. All right. Well, you better keep that list handy, huh? Because there is something going on here, folks. This, with a few washers, just came right out. Oh, that's cooked. Okay. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. That was one of those rubber insulating grommets. Whew, not good. So I'm going to have to, when I get this, I am absolutely going to have to pull that tray to fix that. But one disaster at a time, huh? So, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I don't know. I really want to get that tray out of the way. Let's take 2 at that tray, huh? Leave it on putting on. Get the kicker out of the way. Now that bolt was nice and easy. That other bolt was not so nice and easy. It's tricky because there's a slot in the bottom of the tray, but it doesn't give you clear access to the bolts jammed in there, which I just did. Okay. Let's loosen that other one up. And you, Mr. Starter Relay Wire, no, you are ignition wire. This thing's got a, oh, I'll have to say maybe a crane? Hey, all right. And the one out here, we're going to try 7/16. All right. I am on it. Now, for something I failed to mention in intro about working on Rusty is he is a project bike, which means he will not be sitting on this table until all this crap is done, right? This is going to be probably a couple series videos on Rusty here. And honestly, I've always wanted a shovel. This is my first shovel. And instead of playing with my pud, I'm going to be out here wrenching. So let's put that on there. Okay, so now we get the battery tray out of the way. We can really see the starter. We can get to the cable there. So let's do that now. Oh, that's a 7/16. Okay. Now that's not to say that I won't leave him up here for a little bit. You know, it takes time to do different projects and all that fun stuff. And but we're going to go over them, and I want to get this starter out in a bad way. So I'll do something like we'll get the starter off. But if we spin the wheel and old Gray comes up, well then guess who's going off the table and who's going on the floor. Okay, so let me get on this battery cable. We're all disconnected. There's nothing's gonna electrify me. Much easier than I thought. I think that wheel is gonna play well because too many projects, too many maintenances, too many, too many bikes, too many bikes. So, oh, I don't think the starter has ever been pulled, and there goes the washer. Okay, great. Okay, where would that washer have fallen? I'll worry about him. Oh, there he is. All right, so we'll get that cable off. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, good Lord. Give me a rag. Well, that could have been our half our starter problem. It just wasn't getting a good enough connection. Come on, Mr. Oil Tank, you hang in there. So I may pull that. Yeah, I'm going to pull that from the solenoid, and we're going to clean that up real good. Okay. Can I starter bolts? Okay, I think they're held on with these two jabbers here, and they are itsy bitchies. So let's see. And they're deep well. Oh man, I am on it today. Now they say what you gotta do is take these off and hold the starter together as you pull the starter out. That way the starter doesn't come apart and your brushes don't go flying everywhere. It's not a pretty scene. I've been there with the iron head before. Okay. I'm liking this so far. I think this is a good choice to start with, huh? What do you think? The starter is getting loose. Woo! We might be onto something here, huh? Except the studs are forever long. Is the stud coming out or is the nut coming off? I can't. The stud's coming out. Okay. All right. That's fine. That one's very loosey-goosey. Well, just like that starter solenoid from a couple months ago, it was bad. When we first started to start this, it would chitter, brr, but it wouldn't start. And it wouldn't start. So I changed the solenoid on it. Well, we got the old solenoid off, and oh my God, it was like made in the 40s. I mean, it was horrible. Okay, so starter just kind of fell off in my hand. Ta-da! Starter. Okay, don't lose your rods. If you mess with this, it will come apart on you. But the starter's out. I'll clean it up a little bit. It is super grody, and we'll get that over to the shop, or maybe we'll just buy a new one. I mean, that's OEM, so it might be better off to just replace it entirely. I'm going to look in this starter where it mounts up, and there's no excessive oil or anything. Okay, there's the Bendix. Okay, I got her. All right, so there's one down. We got the starter out. I'm pleased. I'm pleased. While this is in my face, I think I'm going to bring you guys over here and we're going to take a look at this carburetor. I think that'll be a good start. So now, starter's good. I'm happy with that. I'll do some stuff off camera with that. What are we doing on time here? Not too bad, I don't think. So let's get this cover off here. I'll tell you, excuse me, what I do like from Icon or Harbor Freight. These are Doyle screwdrivers. They seem pretty good. At least I haven't spun a handle yet, and I really don't like doing that. All right. There's that. Yeah, this old girl's got some miles on her. Not anything extreme, but, it's a 1980 lowrider. Somebody had to ride the shit out of it. All right, set that aside, and then these are Allen's. See, right here? That one is, this is the hole we want, and it's stripped. The other two are fine. So I'm going to pull this faceplate off. All right. Good old American made. Off, on, off, on, off. All right. And, crap, here's something I got to add to the list. See a little bit of wobble? That's fine when the engine isn't running. But you get this sucker up the temperature and all the vibration, it is gonna fall off. I don't care how tight you make those clamps. Trust me, I know. If anybody saw the fire bike videos, that one where the carburetor fell off on fire, that was exactly the problem. It did not have a brace on it. All right, so there's our face plate or our back plate. Put him in there with the cover. You know, they like this table, but it is like grease lightning. There has been no gas in the carburetor, in the fuel line, so we should be able to take that off. But let me, boy, that doesn't look good at all. I'm too blind. I got to get my readers and a flashlight. Okay, my old man glasses. Okay. Oh shit, ski. Yeah, none of them are good. Top one's not too bad. This bottom right one's not too bad. That one there is effed. And I don't know if I have enough meat around the hole to drill out a quarter hole to put a helicoil in there. So let me know in the comments. Should I try to drill it out? Should I take it off and try and drill it out? Or should I just replace the carburetor? When I picked up the bike, Coop said, yeah, you may want to change it over to the other carburetor. This one didn't run as well, but when I kicked it here a month or so ago, it seemed to run super good. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think I should do. In the meantime, we'll let that one go. But yeah, I thought, well, we'll get a longer bolt and put in there. Nah, there is like one thread left at the bottom of that. That won't fly. So either the carb's coming off and being replaced, which I really hate to do because then I got to buy a body, or maybe I'll ask some online and see if that can be drilled out. I think it can. But we'll find out, and then we'll be back to that carb. Here's a starter solenoid on this side, and this is the battery ground cable, I think it was that yeah, this is it. So I'm going to take him off the bottom stud, and that is certainly not 9/16. So I don't know if it's 5/8. No, bigger than 5/8. Okay. You dirty bastard. All right. It's 11/16. Can I get on it? Oops, sorry. The washer there. And then I'm going to feed him out through the other side, I think. There it is. All right. Yeah. It's not pretty. Like I said, it's probably OEM. I'm going to clean it up. We'll put some dielectric grease on it when we put it all back together. I think it'll be just dandy. Put that on there. Hey, bonus. Super bonus. This, I've been waiting for this for a week. This is a new battery for Raven, which none of you have really seen yet. But that's the black dresser I got down by the basement door. It needs a good strong battery to get it going. So wait for the wheel of wrench and we'll find out when we're going to work on this guy. All right, battery's charging. All right, got the starter out. It wasn't too bad of a job, you know. I didn't take it apart, but there's the start. You know, that's your power from the solenoid, and then one of these is your ground. Old battery starter. I'm not sure what that last part is, but both those wires are fairly toasted. I'm going to meter them, and if they don't meter zero, I'm going to replace them. Here we go. So I got the meter out. I got it set the tone. Let me take these caps off here. I don't hear any tone. New meter. So hold on with me there. Yeah, ohms. Okay. Well, let's check this one. All right, 0.06. We'll clean him up. That should be okay. And maybe I'll take these with me when I get the starter done, and they can load test these cables. Now, this is the big guy. This is your hot wire. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He had this on the ground. Maybe that's what's wrong. That starter wire isn't big enough. So both of them look well within range. I think I'll take them over there when I take the starter over to the electrical starter place to get fixed and see if they can load test them with a battery or with the starter, or, you know, it'd be nice if I could get them compatible with the starter. But I think, yeah, this is a starter. What? Put me in the comments if you know what that means. Battery. I think this is the one that should have came from the solenoid. to this post. All right, but this was the ground. Ah, okay, stand by. Okay, all right, this is starting to make a lot more sense to me now. Can you see these? All right, it's supposed to be one of those double-sided rubber, double-studded things like this, right? And what was going on was this was your solenoid cable, your start cable. That's where it was coming from, the hot side of the solenoid to the starter post, right? To this guy. And then this guy, who was actually labeled old battery to starter, okay, battery to starter, was grounded with this to the battery. I think at some point somebody did have that connected to ground, but it wasn't set up like that this time. That thing was definitely fried by electricity, not just dry rotted. But it's supposed to be a cushion for the oil, the battery tray, not anything electrical. Junk. I'll have to buy one of those. I am going to clean that motor up and then stick it on one of these batteries I have charging, and we'll see if that charges, or see if it spins. And while I was cleaning the starter, I found this, and it's extra crunchy, right? So that was getting really hot. Imagine it was drawing so much current trying to spin, and it just didn't have a good pathway to go from hot to ground, and drew a lot of current and melted some stuff. Okay, that's not horrible, but I am going to take that over and have them. I may put it on a battery just for shits and giggles, but I don't like that, so I'm probably going to have that taken care of too. So no go. I hooked it to a battery, and all I got was a little spark. So I'm thinking the brushes are fried. And my experience with starter motors, I am probably going to say that's what it is. Let me see. Do I have a parts manual up here in my library? My library of Harleys. There's no other books up here. So model service manual, 1987 to 90, 84. There you go, service manual, Shovelhead. I could have swore I had a parts. That's FXR parts manual. Whoa! Don't lose your stuff. Okay, 84 to 89. Oh, here it is, the red one. All right, we're going to take this in with us along with the service manual, and we'll be back. Hey, once again, I just come over to a place called Bars Electric. I'll put the card up here in the video. And they do everything, radiators and starter motors, and they do all kind of mechanical stuff. So they're the guys to go to in Altoona. And so I dropped that starter motor off. But when I got it out, and I didn't really realize what was what, all right. So they had the hot wire coming through a small wire. I don't know who worked on this, had a small wire, smaller gauge wire going from the starter solenoid, which is your juice, to the starter, okay, but there was a small wire. Then the ground was a fatter wire, almost as big as my pinky, that went to this. Char City. Okay, so this is supposed to be, boop, a rubber insulator, probably about that thick, right, with studs on either side, and it insulates. Well, when you put this side to the frame ground and this side to the starter ground, it tends to draw a lot of current, and it melted that thing to death. So I dropped the starter off. I hooked it up to a battery charger, and it didn't even give me a hum or nothing. So I think that shorting out probably fried the brushes. So we'll find out here when I get a call back from Bars. No idea when. So we'll find out when they call. Stick around. Well, I was out. I figured, well, I'll stop at O'Reilly's. Maybe they have one of these. They make them a little bigger, I think. This one seems small to me, but then with it half crusted and melted. Oh, looking at that. Where's that at? Yeah, this right here looks like the original diameters. We were definitely pulling ground bad somewhere. I'll be back. So we're back from O'Reilly's. They didn't have what I need. I thought I had what I needed, so I'm going to rummage through here. I kind of like that cable better. It's a hell of a lot shorter. Let's pull that out. Oh, look what we have here. Okay. 15.5-inch battery cable, black positive. Okay. I wonder if that's the same. There's two of the same. Okay. So we still need a good ground. Aha! Here's what I need. Let me just go ahead and open this up because we're going to need it anyway. Scissors. So this is what that other part was supposed to look like. I was incorrect in saying that the ground for the battery was run to the frame. I was incorrect. But somewhere along the line, somebody did, because this piece was toasted. And I need two of these. I need one for this, for the battery tray, and I need this one for our little horn experiment. So I'll just take both of them out. Drag Specialties. Heavy duty rubber mounts each. Okay, that was very uninformative, but I'm glad we had one, because the guy at O'Reilly's is like, no, we don't have anything for motorcycles. I'm like, well, it's kind of a universal thing, right? It's just a rubber spacer. So we have that and some new cables. That's all old stuff that he pulled off. Switches and spark plug cables in that other bin. That's other stuff. So this is all the extra stuff Coop gave me for the bike when I went down to get it. Not sure. Oh, that's battery bus bar. Okay. Yeah, is that what it says? Wiring connector bar. All right. And then what is this? Chrome replacement stem nut. Oh, okay, that's for steering. Not doing anything with that. Universal signal lens gasket. Oh, I don't know. That looks awful big. Brake plunger parts. I think I have brake parts in my bin over here. There we go. There's brake parts. All right. That's at home with all the other stuff. I'm almost able to empty this thing out. All right. Lens cover, gaskets. Oh, bleeder. They come in handy. Tiny little screw for the timing cover. Oh, another bleeder. Oh, it's my lucky day. That stem nut and that brake bar. Okay, well, I think I'm going to sort this stuff out and get rid of a box, huh? Or maybe keep it for something else. I don't know. But all in all, we're good. Well, folks, I think that's going to do it for today. We got the carburetor cover pulled off to take a look at that stripped bolt hole. I'm going to wait for maybe some comments from you guys to see, what should I do? I'll probably do some web surfing too. And we got the starter out and taken over to the electric guys, Bars Electric. So they'll hash that out. I said, hey, give me an estimate before you start repairing it. I don't know. I've never had one done over there. I've had other stuff done over there. Either, against that or buying a stock or used, or hell, maybe we'll just rebuild it ourselves. You can get the parts for it and everything off JP Cycles. And while I was at O'Reilly's, I didn't mention this earlier, but I got brake fluid. So maybe the next task we do on the list, where is the list? I don't even know where the list went. we'll tackle that brake bleed and get those rear brakes working on us. So you got to troubleshoot. You might have to troubleshoot that. We might go ahead and try and bleed those brakes and the rear calipers locked up. You never know. It's always something. So welcome. So thank you for watching Wrench Ride and Repeat. Please like and subscribe and share. The channel's been booming, and I really appreciate all the attention. And so next time we'll spin the wheel of wrench and see what's next. Hopefully it's Rusty and we can, finish all this off. Or we may just decide to scrap Rusty altogether on the project. I'm not getting rid of Rusty. And maybe we'll just leave him up here for a couple days till we get that starter thing straightened out. Decide what we're going to do for a carburetor. That's a 15-minute job. So till next time, thanks for watching. Stay cool.